Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, lovely Facebook community. It is Clare Ford here, founder of the Switched On Academy and host and facilitator of the Home Education Hub, bringing you once again a very special guest, somebody that I'm really delighted to be talking to this evening, who is also one of my mentors. And so it's really brilliant to be talking to her this evening. And we're talking about something which is so important, not just for us as parents, not just for us as entrepreneurs, but also to be inspiring those people around us, those young people around us too. So we've got jam-packed conversation full of juicy content for you. Now, as you are hopping in, please do say hello in the comments below. We're using StreamYard, so I might not see your name, but I would love to hear from you. Tell us where you're coming in from. And please respond as we go. Pop your comments in, ask any questions. Use Michelle while she's here. If you have read her bio, you will see what a wealth of knowledge she is bringing to the conversation this evening. So please pop those questions in so that we can answer those as we go. And if you're catching up on replay, brilliant. It's lovely to see you. Pop hashtag replay below, and I will make sure that we circle back and that we respond to your comments personally. And again, if you've got any questions, tag Michelle or tag myself so that we can easily find you after we've got off this live. So welcome, everybody. It is so exciting to be here. Hello, Michael. Lovely to see you here. It is great to see you. How are you getting on with your book, Michael? I would love to know. You need to let me know so that I can find out and promote that with you, right? So, okay, let's get to our conversation. Now, as I said, Michelle is amazing. She is a powerhouse. So let me just tell you a little bit about her. She is an HR specialist, a visibility business coach, certified Master NLP Practitioner, and an award-winning International TEDx Speaker on a mission to make the invisible visible. Who better to talk to about branding and visibility this evening? Now, Michelle helps professionals around the world gain absolute clarity, upgrade their confidence, create consistency and continual growth within their business. And she's going to be sharing some of her secret sauce recipes with us here too to support us parentpreneurs. You can tell why she's one of my mentors. So without further ado, welcome, Michelle. It is lovely to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be here indeed.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about why visibility out of all the business things that you do. And, you know, we all do lots of business things, but why did you choose visibility to be the thing that you want to put your stake in the ground for and own and making that invisible visible? Why is that your thing?
I'll tell you why. It's because it started a little while ago where I was in a relationship with my ex-husband and things fell apart as they do. But during that time, I became hugely invisible. And it was quite a contentious divorce, I would say. And my husband had to go to court for things that he was accused of. And during that time, although my whole life was being played out in front of the media, so it was in the media, people in our community were talking about it. I felt at the time that nobody was interested in me and how I felt, what I had to say. Did I believe the stories that were going around? How did I fit into the picture? So I felt hugely invisible. And I just thought, I'm my own person, so I don't need to be seen as the wife of that person. I had my own identity. I had my own voice. But during that time, it mattered not. And so I made a promise to myself that when I get out of this state, whatever that state was, that I will become visible and I will stay visible and credible for the right reasons. So at the time, I was invisible, and any shadow of visibility was all bad, all negative. But I made a point that my personal and my professional life will have visibility, and I will help other people make sure that their voices are heard as well.
What a powerful story. That's amazing. I love that. And, you know, I've been thinking into like my bigger purpose and my reason for doing what I'm doing. I'm working around that at the moment. And I came to the conclusion that for me as well, but for slightly different reasons, but for me as well, it's about that birthright to be fully expressed.
Yeah.
Right? To be fully expressed, you know, your quirks, your foibles, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, your gifts, your talents, whatever it is. Like for you, it's your voice, you know, it's that brand. But it's not being squashed by somebody else's definition of you.
I love it. And the word they've squashed, because that's what you tend to do is they say that by a certain age, I should have accomplished A, B, and C, but what if I haven't? What does that mean? And even for young people and the parents watching this, you think, oh, I should have had this amount of children by then, and my children should be doing this, doing that. That's trying to fit into somebody's own ideal of what life should be. And we shouldn't have to squash or squish ourselves in. And I think embracing all of you is doing things on your own timeline. Without the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And not feeling ashamed for that as well, right? Because often, and I've seen this, you know, in the teaching world so much about people comparing the grade levels and the boundaries and all of that. Well, by the age of this, my child should be doing this. By the age of that, my child would. Or if you've got two siblings, well, your brother was able to do that by that age. Why can't you do it? You know, and this is the thing. We have our own timeline. When we hit those things, I think that that's so important. It's not just about staying in your lane, which as a branding coach is something I'm sure you'll talk to us about in a second, but it's actually as a person staying on your own timeline to do the things that you're ready for at the time that you're ready to do them. I love that. What a powerful start to our conversation. We've only been going 6 minutes. Thank you so much, Michelle. So why is visibility so important? We know why it's important to you. Why is it important for the parentpreneurs, the mumpreneurs who are listening at the moment to make sure that they keep getting their brand out there? Or for people like me who pivoted during lockdown, many of us have. So we had an identity pre-COVID. And now we might be having to rebuild our identity and maybe market a slightly different message, have a different look or whatever. Like, talk to us around that. What are some things that we can do and why is it important?
Yeah, I think visibility is critical for any business owner, any entrepreneur, because let's put it this way. If there is no visible brand of who you are and what you do, how will people buy from you? And what you don't realize that the visual perception of you online or offline signifies trust. You see, we're not going to trust somebody that we've not seen before or we've not heard before. We know nothing about. If I type in Google their name, nothing comes up. The level of trust has diminished completely. But then there is another school of thought. When I see people all the time, when I hear about them, when other people talk about them. So it's not just visibility. It's not just you showing up. It's what other people say about you as well. This is where your personal brand comes in. But when I see all of that, how can I not trust that this person is good? Because there's evidence stacked in their favor to prove that they are. And I'm not saying that everybody is visible or credible. We're not saying that. But what we are saying that those who are visible, they've already created that bond of trust. And if you want people to buy your products, your services, your offers, they have to see it. They need to hear about it. They need to feel it. They need to know that if I speak to somebody who knows about you, they're going to tell me something good about you. I want to know that if I go onto your LinkedIn, there are some testimonials there to testify that you are good at what you say you are. So it's got to be an equal balance between you showing up and being visible and having that voice, but also there's got to be another camp of people who are cheerleading you from the sidelines. That's what visibility and credibility is. And it makes such a difference to your brand. You don't need to work as hard of trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Because now you're you're talking to warmer audiences.
Yeah.
Who may have engaged with you on different platforms. And the selling process is less salesy. It's more of a conversation. You know what I can do. The next stage is, am I a good fit? Do you think we'll get on? If we work together for 6 months, do we have the type of personalities that will mold well with each other? So those are the things. So that's not selling anymore, is it? It's more seeing if we can work together for the next 6, 9, 10 months. So I think that visibility is critical. I wouldn't hire somebody that I see nothing of, have heard nothing about them, as opposed to somebody who I see all the time and people testify to their greatness.
Yes, no, absolutely. And, you know, this is why, Michelle, come rain or shine, for the last 18 months, at least once a week, I have shown up doing lives with people, like conversations. You know, it's a way for me to stay accountable to my lovely audience on Facebook, my tribe, but it's also a way for me to make sure that I'm showing up and playing full out, and also really delivering content that I feel is very useful for people to have, which isn't necessarily always my content. Like what you've just shared is gold, right? Like everybody needs to know this stuff. So there may be some parents listening who are thinking, well, that's all very well for you, right, Michelle? You're a TEDx speaker, right? You're really confident. Or they might be thinking, well, that's all very well for you, Claire. You've been a teacher. You're used to standing up and talking, let's not at people, but, you know, to people, with people, right? So if people aren't quite so confident, now the thing is, I know I've rocked up live while I've been walking around in the woods with my little hood over my head in the rain, right? I'm not worried about perfection in any way. But for some people who are, what are some little kind of confidence hacks that you could give them if they say, well, Michelle's told me to be visible and show up for my audience. I've just been putting inspirational posts online, but that's not really getting people to know about me. What could they do?
There's a couple of things that you can do. So first and foremost, showing up doesn't mean you have to be on video. And showing up doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert. There are introverts. There are people who don't feel comfortable being on camera. There's different ways that you can show up. And some of it is just telling your side of the story. And you can do that in a blog. You can do that in audio. And this is why Clubhouse has done so well, because it takes the judgment of how people look. And now we just hear the power of voice. And this is something that you can do if you don't like showing up on camera. And no one likes hearing their voice. I sing and I still don't like to hear my voice. I talk a lot and I still don't like it. But it's not about me. And this is what we have to remember as parentpreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners. It's not about you. And once you move yourself out the way and you have been given a gift, and that gift needs to be shared with the wider world, you will do yourself and others a disservice if you keep it all to yourself. So find ways that you can give exposure to this gift. Because if I've got something that I know is going to help somebody else, if somebody who hasn't eaten, they need a drink, and I know my house is full, stacked to the brim, how dare I not give them something? And it's the same with our gifts. It's the same with our offers and our services. So you find different ways that work for you to get your message across. So it could be audios, it could be written blogs. You could do something with somebody else, because like how we're doing this together, in an interview style, people prefer to be interviewed rather than just to stand face the camera and regurgitate information. So there's different ways that you can get your message across that works well with your character and with your personality.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing those tips. And I think maybe that's why I quite like vlogging, which is doing a video when I'm walking, when I'm outside, right? I feel inspired. I have all that space around me, right? I often get like interventions, like messages coming through, which I'm like, and I feel inspired to share them. And I just like literally show up and I'm like, here I am again, walking in Bindon in Kent. But there's something I want to share with you guys, right? And so that's the way it works for me. And then, as you say, this side-by-side interview approach, I really love that. And that's the way I've chosen to do that. So Thank you. I love that. And yes, writing and of course the audio on Clubhouse and the power of voice. So let's talk a little bit about the power of voice. Now, things are opening up a bit. Now that lockdown is kind of here in the UK, it's opened up for the moment. We can go out and about. And so there's something very exciting happening in September, Michelle. Tell us a little bit about something that you're involved in, that you've been actually involved in quite a few years, but has had to take a different sort of back burner during lockdown. Tell us a little bit about what's happening in September.
Yes, so in September, on September the 11th, there is an event called the Women in Business event. So although it's branded the Women in Business, it's open for anybody. And for me, I'm excited about this for two reasons. Firstly, this is going to be my first in-person gig for, I swear, about 16 to 18 months. And I'm so used to speaking on stage and engaging with people, talking to people, and that was all gone. And we had to do things through Zoom, little square boxes. That's all we fit in. So I'm really hugely excited about this in-person event. And to the point, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, what do I need again? I've forgotten what I need. So, we need our pull-up banners, any leaflets. And I'm thinking, do I have any leaflets? Do I still even have business cards? Who needs business cards? All of these things. So it's the excitement of being around real people. But secondly, my second excitement is because you are speaking at that event and I am bowled over. I'm so proud and I feel honored as well that people that I've been working with, and I think there's some other people as well that I work with who are speaking, that we are going to be sharing the same stage. And this is, in this day and age, this is really great stuff. And it's incredible stuff because we're in a new era of life, and it just makes you think you don't want to take these things for granted. So we want to capture the moments and everything that we've been taught about storytelling, everything that we've been taught about exceptional presence when you're on stage, to own the stage, have to engage with people, to interact with people, to listen out to their questions, to be around when other speakers are speaking, so you can bring some of their content into your content. You can name them by name, you mention them by name. All of these things just creates that euphoria of being in person. So I'm hugely excited. I've done different talks at the person who's in charge of it is Des O'Connor, and I've done a number of talks at his events. So I know how they run, I know the quality of how he puts it all together. And although there's speakers of different levels, I love that because he gives everybody a chance. So you have people who are more seasoned speakers and used to it, don't need much preparation, and those who are new, starting out, and you get that hand-holding experience. And I love that there's no judgment, and I love that there's no pretentiousness. So we've got people of all different levels doing the same thing together. And for me, that's gold.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, I am really excited about the opportunity. And I think that it's exactly that. I'm always telling my students or inviting them rather to try something that feels a bit hard, right? Kids, of course, every day they're trying to learn something that might feel a bit hard, right? And as teachers, as parents, we're just expecting them to get on with that. And I thought, you know what? It's about time that I tried something that felt a bit hard.
Yes.
Right? It's not impossible. I feel kind of ready, but it does feel hard. It's a stretch. And if we want to give this growth mindset to our young people, to our teenagers, if we're saying to them, look, the world that you're going into, we can't necessarily prepare you for, because it's so completely different to the way that we were growing up and the world we were going into. If we're asking them to make that stretch, and we're saying, well, you need to try something new, or you need to be brave and you need to go for this job or this apprenticeship or this course, or put yourself out there and do X, Y, Z or ABC, then I truly believe, for my sons to look at me, I truly believe that I need to be doing those things too. So I can say to them, look, I stepped on that stage. I had a go. It took me till I was 50 something, right? You can do it in your 20s.
Mm-hmm. Never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late, but let's be that role model. Let's step outside our comfort zones so that we can then, everybody rises, like we say, and I'll be learning from you. There'll be other people there that you're learning from. Des will be learning from how it works after COVID. He'd probably be like, what's going on? So it's going to be really, really mega exciting. And the best thing is, for everybody, that the event is free. You can attend for free. And you get a whole day of over 15 speakers, a whole day of content, personal, professional development content, and all those opportunities for networking. Yeah. And I'm telling people now, I'm putting it out now, I'm going to be hugging. I'm putting it out on the table now. I'm a hugger. So watch out, everyone.
I'm a hugger too. I'm actually a hugger too. So
yeah.
And the great thing about it, it's all COVID safe. So, people would have taken tests. So I don't want anyone to worry to think, oh my gosh, how are they going to? They're going to make sure they're meeting the criteria, so that everyone feels safe, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And everybody feels safe and everybody gets loads of value and content on the day. So tell us a little bit about why we're doing all this, Michelle. Like, you're a mum, right? You've got the most beautiful daughter, and congratulations on her grades that she got, after this 18 months of disastrous education. So you get the whole parent space thing. What's your drive and motivation? You told us your story about why it's important to be visible. But if we dig a little bit deeper under that, why do you get up every day and do what you do and work hard to build your brand and to be visible and to bring in the money? Why do you do it?
So I would say the first and foremost is because I believe that I am in control of my destiny and my wealth, and I have to create it now. So this is why I do put in the hours. I do put in the time, because I know, and I've already mapped it out when I need to stop working, because I'm quite regimented in my plan of how I want it to be. And I do this because I have one daughter, and I know how her life could have been with what's happened with her father. And I feel, and I've always had that extra, I feel like that extra burden. I have to be the parent, both parents. I need her to see what it's like. And I want her to see that if I do put in the work and put in the time in the right areas, that I can get results. I need her to see that, so she does that with her studies. I need her to see that, so she does that in her profession. And she sees me working, and she sees that we take time out on a Friday usually, that's where I want to chill after a certain time. And she sees that, and she knows that if I'm diligent. So I've taught her about diligence. I've taught her about resilience in work. I even tell her when I've lost contracts. And, at one time I lost a contract, I was so upset, really, really upset. And I cried. I actually cried, because I thought I was going to get it. And she said to me, but Mum, why are you crying? And I said, oh, I'm just so disappointed. I can't understand it. And then she goes, but Mum, it doesn't have any bearings on who you are. And I was just like, how is she doing this? How is she doing this? And she said to me, when I see you do your coaching, what would you tell your clients if something like this happened? So she goes, tell me. And I told her, and she goes, there you go. And I just thought to myself, I'm doing something right. Yeah. I do. And because they learn from what we do and not necessarily what we tell them. If I just told her and my lifestyle was different, there's a disconnect, So the fact that she was able to come back to me, and I think she is my driver for that visibility. She is that driver to make me do what I do and to move out of my comfort zone. And something that's not even work related that I'll share, I hate rides. I don't like rides. I don't like the up and downs. I don't like the goes up. It freaks me out. And when we went to Dubai, I took her to Dubai, and clearly Dubai, they do everything bigger. We went to this indoor adventure place. and it's the biggest in the world. So they have like the highest everything. So my daughter said, "Oh, mum, please come on." I said, "You must be mad. Never, never." She goes, "Please, please, please, mum, please come on." And my mum doesn't like rides. My mum was there as well. And I just thought, and my daughter said to me, "How can you tell all your clients to move out of their comfort zone, to do something, to stretch?" And they said, and she said to me, "If they could see you now, they wouldn't pay you any money." That's what she said to me. And I thought, right, I'm doing it. And I went on, oh my God, I thought I was going to die. I went on it, and I came off it, and, I couldn't stand up, but I did it. And I went back on straight away afterwards because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. And I did it. And now I have the choice if I want to go on rides, and I'm not scared by fear. Yes. And this is something that I tell everybody. You do something so you can know you mastered it, so you're not controlled by fear, because fear is debilitating. So yeah, I'm still learning as well.
Yeah. I love that. I always say that our children are our biggest teachers, Michelle. And, it's the same for me. My son, he gave me a gift of a golden nugget returned, right? Something that I taught him a long time ago. And I was in a situation where I think I was, it wasn't that I didn't get something. I was kind of comparing myself. I got into that downward spiral, that comparison, awful spiral, compare and despair. And I was like, oh, but I haven't got this and I haven't done that. Da, 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 da. And, he stopped me right in my tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I was comparing myself with my sister, I think. And, old sibling rivalry, it never dies. And, he literally stopped me and he's like, "But you're completely different. You're completely different. Your lifestyles are completely different. Your values are completely different. Your lives are completely different. You don't want what she's got. Why are you comparing yourself with her?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Reminder.
And so the thing is, like you say, we've done something right because we've talked the talk and we've walked the walk. And sometimes when we wobble a little bit and go off track, like, isn't that an amazing gift that it's our children who can remind us of our power and our brilliance and our uniqueness?
Definitely.
That's really special. I love that.
To us as parents, isn't it? It's a testament to us as parents, and we don't pat ourselves on the back enough. And I think when you see your child who can turn around and re-guide you and remind you of your worth and just how great you are, then you've done a good job.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. So I agree with you. I think it's our children, it's making sure that we're providing enough money for ourselves, that we're leaving that generational wealth or creating that generational wealth, and that we're building that legacy for our children. It doesn't mean they have to go into the same kind of company or whatever, but it's just giving them those opportunities. But as you say, modeling the process and talking about it and talking about the failures as well, not just doing it all under the carpet and suddenly they're 21 or they're 30 and they've come into, this ice has matured or this, and they're like, "Oh, brilliant, I've got loads of money, thanks, mum." No, that's not the journey. That's not the learning, right? As you say, it's those step-by-steps, that decision-making, why we're doing that, why we're not going out and spending the money now, because actually that's going into that pot, which is building something else, and having those conscious conversations about financial literacy, especially, which is not taught in schools.
Mm-hmm.
So important. I love that. That's amazing. So, fantastic. So, I've got one last thing I'd like us to speak into.
Yes.
Before you go, I know you've got to hop off for a coaching call soon, and I do want to give you the opportunity to tell people where we can find out more about you. But there I've noticed with your bio and your kind of methodology and the way I teach, I noticed that there are some lovely crossovers. And so I would love to speak into that from our two different perspectives, if you like. So you talk about clarity, confidence, consistence, and continual growth for business owners, entrepreneurs. This is something that you teach, that you coach when you do your business training. So tell us a little bit about, what those words mean for you in the context in which you use them.
Yeah, and I guess I do a lot of coaching around people, entrepreneurs who want to become more visible. I also do coaching for entrepreneurs who want to attract corporate engagements. And I use those C's in terms of making sure that they're clear. A mind that is not clear cannot make a decision. And it's amazing how many people are not actually clear as to what they want. And they come to me to tell them, well, I can't. But what I can do is work with you to gain that clarity of mind. And there's an exercise that I do. It's like well-formed outcomes. So tell me, what is your big outcome? Why are you here? Why do you exist? What do you want to do? And then I get them to really embrace that. So we get so clear. And then I even check with them, what will happen if this, what will it look like when it happens? What will happen if it doesn't happen? You know, who else will be affected by this? So all of these things around clarity is, that's the first. We need to get clarity. The other area is the confidence. Now we have the clarity. That's going to increase your confidence bank, because now I know what to do. When people get stuck on doing a project or doing a proposal because they're not clear which direction, once you've got that clarity, you automatically become more confident. You start to sit upright. You speak with an air of confidence. And when we look at confidence, it's once again, it's reminding yourself of just how great you are. One of the things, simple exercise I do is get them to write their names on a piece of paper and write down all the things that you're great at, all the things that other people think you're great at, and to actually visualize every word on that paper. And that reminds you just how good you are, because our confidence levels can be knocked by so many things in life, and you just have to remind yourself. And then we look at consistency. You have to have the clarity, the confidence, and the consistency, because what happens, you may do something for a number of times, and you know, if you stop for a long time, it's harder to get back on that horse. And then your confidence levels drops. Then you're not clear about where you want your outcomes to be. So it has a knock-on effect. And I always say, don't be consistent in a way that it's going to stress you out and it's like an additional burden. Your consistency could be once a week, once a month. It doesn't have to be daily. So you find a consistent pace that works with your timeline, works with your family, your friends, but something that you can commit to. And the last area is continual growth. Every day you should be growing. You should be absorbing information that grows you. I know when I've not been growing and I'm repeating the same thing is when I haven't read a book recently. My growth comes through reading or listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook. And I know when my growth has become stale because I haven't read anything. So your growth could be just having conversations with the right types of people. These are the elevators in your life, the green lighters, I call them. We have green lighters and we have red lighters. So having conversations with them on a consistent basis, reading, absorbing good information, reducing the time that you spend watching the news or negative things. So I believe there's two things. I see them as my eye gate and my ear gate, and I protect both of them. I protect them at all costs. So if somebody rings me and I can hear they're starting to talk about someone else, I always say, oh, I've got to dash because I don't want to hear it, because I know I will be influenced by what they've just told me, and it's going to impact how I feel about that person, whether I like it or not. So that level of emotional awareness I have around me. So I try not to hear too many negative things about people, because I have to protect, and that's not going to grow me in any shape or form. So that's how I utilize those C's in the work that I do.
I absolutely love that. And that last bit about boundaries, I'll just speak into that briefly. But yes, so this happened to me the other day. So in the morning, you know, my partner's working from home still sometimes, and he has his coffee and logs on and looks at his computer and all of that. And then he'll tell me about, oh, I've got these messages from this and these, and my boss said that, and so I was about to do my course with the kids that are going through my program right now. And I was getting in the right mindset for that. And I literally put my hand up and said, I don't want to hear this right now. Can you tell me at 11 o'clock? I'll come back to you at 11 o'clock. I don't want to even entertain one iota of negativity For me to be in the right headspace, mindset space, energetic space to go into the program that I'm delivering in the best possible way that I can do. And it was exactly that. It was like a gate. It was like an ear gate. And I'm like, my ears are shut to this shit, right? I'm not having it. Right?
Definitely.
You know, I wanted to support him through that, but not at that minute.
Yes.
So I think that that's really important to ensure ensure the growth. And like you said, with the continual growth, I think this is as well why Clubhouse has been so fascinating, because it's like a live podcast that you can do while you're doing something else. You know, if you're not on stage talking and delivering the content, there's still plenty of ways that you can get amazing content from amazing professionals, you know, on the go. And so that does help you with that continual growth. But again, it's those boundaries, not get wrapped up in it being a time-sucking device, and perhaps ending up in the wrong rooms for the wrong reasons, you know. So it is about being mindful around that. But I love those things you've said, because they you know, a very similar way that the seeds that I sow in what I call my positive learning landscape, right, for kids. And, you know, having clarity, we go back to your first point, but about having clarity, not just about what subject we're doing, right, but it's like, why are we even learning this? Right? You know, for me, getting those kids to be switched on learners is making their learning meaningful and relevant. And I always say to people, if your kid or your teen is coming to you and they're saying, you know, why am I learning this? And if you're saying, well, it's because I say so, who said that? And, you know, if it's because I say so, and then if you think, well, actually, I'll pass the buck. Well, your teacher says so. And if you're going even higher, bigger guns, you know, well, the government says so. Otherwise, I'm going to go to prison, right? I've said that to my boys before. That's not a good enough answer. Right? It has to be an internalized why. So, you know, and then as you say, the confidence comes, you know, that consistent approach, repetition, builds mastery, builds confidence, gets you even clearer on the next step, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, yeah, absolutely love that you brought those things to our conversation today. So thank you so much. So, Michelle, if people would like to continue the conversation with you personally further, where can they get in touch with you? And tell us if you've got anything, apart from obviously appearing live in London, if you've got anything else going on that maybe people might want to sign up for, or a freebie or whatever.
The best thing to do is, I'm on all of the social media platforms, but I'm mainly active on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you can catch me there. I'm under Michelle Raymond, and also on LinkedIn, I'm under Michelle Raymond, or the People's Partner. So that's the best place that you can find me. And you'll just see me pop up now and again on Instagram. I make sure, like Claire, that I put content out, even if it's once or twice a week, because you have to actually do the work as well. So there's a lot of doing the work and delivering the work after putting up the content. And at the moment, I don't have anything to promote, but I just want to just remind people, I guess, of this saying. It's not my saying. I probably took it from someone, I don't know who. But we all are givers in some way, and we want to make an impact in the world. And I always remind myself, and this is a saying that I like to say at the end, is we can't make an impact in the world if every day we're tiptoeing through life. I want to leave you with that. You wake up in the morning, and this is what I say to myself: Michelle, how will I be great today? What does greatness look like? What does excellence look like? And this is probably why I take so long to do things, because I want that spirit of excellence, which is different from perfectionism. It's how can I be excellent? How can I be great today? And how can I prove that I'm not tiptoeing? So tiptoeing is, you've got something to say, but you don't want to say it. I don't want to hurt anybody, or what will they think of me? They might think I'm diva-ish or whatever. Tiptoeing is, you have a great message to share, but you're keeping it to yourself. Tiptoeing is, you've been led to write a book, but you've been sitting on it for years and years and years and years. Tiptoeing is all of those things. And then I have to remind myself, but I said that I want to make an impact in the world. People who make an impact, the influencers of the world, the trailblazers of the world, do not tiptoe in life. So that's what I just want to leave to everybody listening to this.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your time this evening. It's been amazing talking to you, and how lovely to be like having this kind of conversation, on our platform. So thank you so much, and really look forward to giving you a big hug in September.
Not too far away.
Not too far away, I know. So for anybody who is wondering, we are talking about the Desert Connors Women in Business event. I have popped the links around this video. So if you have any questions or queries, pop them below, tag Michelle or myself in your post so we can circle back and find you and answer those for you. But that is all for now. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day, evening, wherever you are, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.